Hey, it's me, Katie, and this week I want to talk about PROs. Now, if you're new to songwriting or you just are unfamiliar with the term, then this video is for you. This is more of an overview of things I was learning when I was picking out my PRO, so if there's something I talk about that you would love for me to go a little more in depth on and kind of explain it a little more, then comment it below because I would love to do that. And I just feel like PROs are important to talk about because if you're not really close to the industry but you want to start songwriting, then it's definitely something that you should consider signing up for. So let's get into it. Okay, I know you've been waiting for it. What's a PRO? Basically a fancy way of saying performing rights organization, and that was something that was founded because public places and restaurants were using music for free and not paying the writers. And it was equivalent to just if a restaurant just took silverware or tablecloths because they're part of the ambiance. People don't come here for that, they come here for the food. But try sitting in a silent restaurant and asking where the music is. Kind of proves that it has value. And this led to the formation of Ascap, which stands for the American Society of Composers, Authors, and Publishers. It was formed in 1914 and basically battled for writers to get their right of being paid for the music that was played publicly. Unfortunately, when there was only one PRO, that led to a little bit of a leverage monopoly that Ascap had, which had them excluding certain genres and writers from joining their PRO, but luckily that had the Broadcast Music Inc. or BMI come into fruition in 1941, which became an alternate place for songwriters to join a PRO. And PROs seem to come and go sometimes, so the last one I'll just bring up briefly is CSAC, which used to stand for the Society of European Authors and Composers, but now just goes by CSAC. This one I won't talk about too much because you have to be invited or referred to join, while BMI and Ascap welcome all writers. So I'll be focusing a little more on them. What PRO am I a member of? I'm a member of Ascap, and I will go more in depth into why I chose Ascap a little later in the video. I just wanted to be upfront because I have more first-hand personal experience with Ascap, but I've spoken to people in BMI, and even when I was choosing, I was told that they are very similar, and they both have really great people working at both places, all of that good stuff. And if Ascap has something, there's a really good chance that BMI has it in some form or another. Yes and no. BMI is free to join as both a writer and a publisher. Now you might be like, writer and a publisher? I'm not signed to a publishing deal. I feel you. But that's just how songwriting works. It's always been the profit split between the writer and the publisher, 50-50. So even if you're not signed, you still register as a publisher. You will just get all your money afterwards. And I set up my publisher as an LLC, but I've heard you can also just do it under your name. So whichever works. Ascap is $100 to join as a writer and a publisher. However, I suggest you do a little bit of digging because when I visited the offices and got a little bit of an information session, I got a code that let me join for free. So if you contact them or maybe show a lot of interest, they'll be interested in you and maybe something like that could work out. So I wouldn't rule out a PRO based just on money. Now I know what you're asking. Katie, how do I know which one is best? Well, there is no right or wrong answer to that question. Like I said, they're very similar, and it just comes down to which one you feel like will champion and support the values that you have as a writer. So that's why I kind of recommend, if possible, you can visit the headquarters or the office of the PRO that you're interested in joining. But if that's not possible, then watching videos like these or going to the website for even more in-depth information is a great place to start. So now I know what you're saying. What are the benefits? What are the good parts of joining? Because obviously there's got to be a little bit more motivation to join. And I would definitely say the biggest thing is anytime you do an open mic where you play original music, a writer's round where you do a lot of songs that are yours, it becomes a paying gig, which is insane because hopefully you were just going to do them anyway, and now it turns into making a little more money. Now you notice I said original music. Ascap only pays for public performances that you wrote. You don't get paid if you do a cover song at an open mic because it wasn't a public performance of your song. So keep that in mind when you're picking your set list. Maybe you'll throw in a couple more original songs if you can. And personally for me, it's not money like quit your day job kind of money, but I will put up on the screen. I've been in Ascap for a little bit. I just joined recently, and this is kind of like a couple quarters worth of what I've made. And I thought it would be interesting to show because I've always looked for this kind of information but couldn't find it anywhere. Like, was there a magic number? Could I get any kind of example? And there's really no magic number because Ascap pays you based on the venue size and and things like that, like how much the restaurant pays for their Ascap license. So you could do the same amount of shows as me, bigger venue, more money, smaller venue, less money. Maybe you do twice the amount of shows, more money. It really just depends on you. There's a lot of flexibility in that, which is good and bad, depending on how you look at it. But it's really motivational, and like I said, you would have been doing it anyway, so now look at you, making money and singing your own songs. Another huge benefit is benefits. ASCAP gives things like online gym stuff, therapy, dental insurance, hotels. There's a lot of musician tools that you would have already wanted to use that now you can get a discount, 15% off at Sam Ash. It was like, wow, look at all this. There's a songwriting tool called Master Writer that has a lot of high praise. If you guys would like me to do a review on it, I totally will, because I think I'm gonna get it and try it out and see if I like it, because I do a lot of songwriting on my Notes app, so apparently this is like the tool for songwriters, so that's convincing enough for me to give it a shot. And with ASCAP, you get a discount, so it doesn't hurt, right? So yeah, I'll just put up on the screen again, show you all the benefits because there's a ton. So just take a look at that, and yeah, if you like any of these, that seems like a reason to at least try it out, right? And with the positives come the negatives. Didn't want to have to be the bearer of bad news or anything, but these are the negatives of being in a PRO. Now you have to remember that these are businesses, companies, and they have contracts. And while that's not really a negative right off the bat, they are, like I mentioned before, they auto-renew, so you have to exit the contract at the right time if that's what you want to do. Ascap has a 1-year contract, BMI has a 2-year contract, and that CSAC I mentioned earlier has a 3-year contract. And I have heard horror stories of people being like, it's been 3 years, I can leave my CSAC contract. And they did not do anything to show that they weren't interested in having it auto-renew, so they were trapped for 3 more years, or trapped for 2 if they were in BMI. Even trapped for 1, if they were really excited to leave, even 1 year is a long time. And there's no wiggle room, no way to get out of it. Once it clicks again, you're in it again for that amount of years. So it's very important to be on top of that, especially if you're interested in leaving. If not, then it just rolls on and you're just in a PRO for as long as you're in a PRO. So it's really only when you're leaving that it becomes a potential negative. Remember I said you were looking for someone to champion and support you? Well, if you're doing this like for fun, or you do open mics and you're a smaller artist, and you're at BMI, and Taylor Swift's at BMI, they might be championing her a little bit more, but don't worry, there's still stuff for smaller artists. They have critique nights where you can bring in your original music and they will help you out with what you can work on. They have those info sessions. You still get access to all those benefits. So I think, other than that, I just haven't had a lot of personal experience with the people at ASCAP, but I totally think if you pursue it and you schedule meetings and get coffee, that's another way to move yourself up in that champion and support sort of a thing. Despite the negative stuff, I love being at a PRO. I feel like it is a great decision, and it's just allowed me to keep track of all my songs and my performances, things I would have been doing anyway, but ASCAP kind of gives you that money incentive to just be like, let me plug in my performances, plug in the songs I did, the set list, and it's a great reference for if you're later like, what set list did I do at this show last year? Oh yeah, I did this one. Maybe I'll do it again, or maybe I won't put those songs together. It's just things you wouldn't think about that end up coming in handy that I really like. Like I said, it tracks performances, and unfortunately with everything going on, public performances aren't a thing right now. Very sad. But when they do hopefully eventually become a thing again, that will be still a great tool to have. So I love it, and I think being a part of a PRO is a great choice. I love being in a PRO, but do I think you should join? I think you should, especially if you're a songwriter, because they were made for you. They fight for your rights as a songwriter, remember? And you get to get that potential money incentive using BMI Live or Ascap on stage. So if you perform your songs or someone you know performs your songs, you get to see a little bit of money there, which is, you know, a good thing, because you know how much money music makes when you're a small artist. But other than that, I chose Ascap because they showed a lot of interest with the college that I'm at, which felt like I was being championed because they were supporting me through my school. And also, they were founded by the songwriters, while BMI was founded by the broadcasters. So for me, it was little things like that, because like I said, they're almost the same, but sometimes you gotta find little things that you like that might outweigh one to the other. Both great things about both. Are you a part of a PRO? Which one? Do you have negative, positive experiences you want to share below? Comment anything below. And I post every Tuesday and Friday. I hope you have a great Tuesday, and I will see you on Friday. Bye! You thought you were something new. You thought you were worth this attention you desire.